Hey guys, Nike here. As promised, I have returned to share the updated Spellbreaker build using Spear. I won't bury the lead here. We are no longer using Hammer and no longer using the defense trait line. This will be a bit of a deal breaker for some people, no pun intended. Hammerbreaker was an extremely comfy build that combined good damage with insane built-in defenses and quality of life utility. Moving back to tactics sacrifices a good bit of that, but what we get in return is rather insane opening burst damage. The damage this build does to a boss for its first 25% is quite huge and pretty satisfying. Well, I don't want to yap too much. I feel like you guys have probably had enough yapping with Janthir Wild's expansion story. So let's just get right into it, and at the end of the video I will yap a bit more about Spellbreaker versus Berserker and where the two builds stand in the meta right now. So our gear remains full Berserker with Scholar Runes, but we will swap from Relic of the Thief to Relic of the Claw. Unlike Berserker, this build is more forgiving with the Claw Relic since it has a bit more CC in the rotation to smooth things out. So without reservation, I can recommend the Claw Relic to everyone, whereas I had some caveats in the Berserker guide. Our weapons are going to be Dagger, Axe, and Spear. On the Dagger set, we are going to use Sigil of Force and Sigil of Impact. On Spear, we are going to use Sigil of Force and Sigil of Hydromancy. Our infusions should be full power infusions. For food and consumables, I am going to, again, as always, recommend cilantro, lime, sous vide steaks, and Writ of Masterful Strength. Although, if you have budget issues, feel free to use potent, superior sharpening stones instead. One last note for gearing is that on average, you will have 4 stacks of Attacker's Insight, which will enable you to crit cap. However, there are times in the rotation where it can dip below 4 stacks, and you may get a non-crit. Generally speaking, this will happen in the dagger portion and will most likely be a dagger auto attack and won't be too painful overall. Because non-critting is very infrequent, it might only be 1 or 2 attacks per fight, if that. You don't need to wear any assassin's gear if you see a non-crit or try to overcompensate. It would just be a DPS loss. With that said, guys, let's move on to talk about traits. In traits, we're going to want Strength, Tactics, and Berserker. In Strength, we're going to take Peak Performance, Great Fortitude, and Berserker's Power, which are the same 3 traits we've taken in every Power Warrior build for the last several years. In Tactics, we want Leg Specialist, Warrior's Cunning, and Martial Cadence. The first 2 are going to add big damage modifiers to the build, which is great. And our Grandmaster is going to give essentially 30% stability uptime for our party, which hopefully our supports will fill in the gap, and we can have a nice QL bonus from that. In Spellbreaker, we want Pure Strike, Sun and Moon Style, and Mage Bane Tether. Our utility skills are going to be To the Limit, Bull's Charge, Double Signet, and Winds of Disenchantment. So with that out of the way, how does the build actually play? The Spearbreaker has a really nice looping rotation that I find quite easy to learn. If you are a bit put off by how frenetic and high-paced the Berserker feels, give this one a try, as it's quite a bit slower paced and it loops really smoothly. As always, I will do a slow motion skill by skill breakdown and then show the rotation at normal speed afterwards. If you guys have any questions about how or why something is as it is in the rotation, feel free to ask in the comments below. Snowcrows will have a written breakdown of the rotation if you would like to see it, so be sure to check that out with them. All right, guys. So for the rotation, the tricky part of the opener is that you really will need to get full adrenaline rather quickly, and you want to build up stacks of attacker's insight quickly. So as you engage a boss, you're going to want to use to the limit to fill your adrenaline, and then you will start with Winds of Disenchantment and a Bull's Charge. The Bull's Charge will give you the stack of attacker's insight, and then we are going to use our Dagger Burst skill, which is a leap finisher, through the Winds of Disenchantment, which will give us a CC finisher and give us another stack of attacker's insight. So then we go Axe 4, Axe 3, and swap to Spear, Spear 2, Spear 3, Spear Burst, then Spear 4, and then we're going to do some Spear autos until 2 comes off cooldown again, and then we're going to do Spear 2 and Spear 5. Spear 5 will knock you back a little bit. Just take, one step forward and keep auto attacking. And then we're going to auto attack until our burst is ready. And then we're going to do Spear Burst. And then Spear 3, Spear 2, and swap back to Dagger. And start immediately with a Dagger Burst. Then Axe 4 and Axe 3. And then after Axe 3, we will do Axe 5. Immediately after Axe 5, we are going to Dagger 2. After Dagger 2, we're going to do 3 auto attacks, just one full chain. Bull's Charge. And then we're going to continue to auto attack until our Axe 4 and Dagger 3 are ready. Then we're going to Dagger Burst, Axe 4, Dagger 3, and swap back to Spear and do the same Spear loop again. And from this point on, it is a perfect loop. So you can see then we are going to Spear 4, auto attack, then, Spear 2 and Spear 5 again. And then we're going to go back to Spear auto attacking until we get our burst ready. And then we are going to burst, then Spear 3 and Spear 2. And the Spear side of the rotation is always going to be the same thing. So once you've learned it once, that's all you got to do. The Dagger side's a little trickier because we have these auto attacks. And it's not really full auto attack chains. You see, we after the burst, and then after Axe 5, like I said, we do Dagger 2, and then this is where it gets a little amorphous and a little tricky. You're going to Dagger 2 and do an auto attack chain, followed by the Bull's Charge. And like I said, perfect loop from here on out. I'm not going to belabor the point. You can rewind it and watch again if you want to go over everything. We don't need to see the full thing in slow motion. But yeah, that's it. It's a relatively easy loop to learn. And really the only tricky part is when you're about to end the dagger rotation is when you should burst. Essentially, you want to time it so that you land your dagger burst right as Axe 4 is coming off cooldown, so that you can do dagger burst, Axe 4, Axe 3, swap back to Spear. You don't want dagger 4 and dagger 3 off cooldown for a while because you're wasting time, and you don't want them to be still on cooldown, and because you don't want to do the dagger burst and then have to do an auto attack waiting for them to come off cooldown. So that just takes that's a little timing thing, and you can work on it. Anyway, guys, I will stop this now and play the full speed version for you. Stick around. All right, so before I go, I want to just do a little bit of talk about the Spear Zerker versus the Spear Breaker in the meta. Spear Zerker is going to have a higher damage number, but it has a more flat damage profile. It's going to do the same, essentially, DPS in the first 10 seconds of the fight as it will do in the last 10 seconds of the fight. Whereas Spear Breaker has an insane opening burst, but then the damage declines from there. So in longer, uninterrupted fights, Zerker is going to do better damage. In short fights or fights against multiple mobs where you get Warrior's Cunning, again, HTCM or just HT normal mode being something that I would say fits that, Spearbreaker is going to shine big time. For 99.9% of you, though, just play the one you prefer most. The people who truly want to min-max or need to min-max for a particular fight don't need me to tell them which to play. All in all, I think the Spearbreaker rotation is easier to learn and easier to master, so it's a good starting point for non-warrior players to break into the class, or for people who are just looking for a lower pressure rotation in general. But you know, sometimes you just want to spam Decapitate with your axe as much as possible, and you gotta get Berserk. So that's it, guys. I do hope you enjoy this build. Please give it a try. Let me know how you like it in the comments below. And yeah, see you next time. Peace.